It is Monday, the 20th of March, and you are with Smell the Coffee with Aina Raisa Kweyo and Ashwin Betty. It was a wonderful, exciting weekend, and we are happy to be here, not just to smell the coffee, but to drink it. How's it going, Aina?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a brand new week.
You know, at the moment I said, but to drink it, I realized I didn't bring coffee. Wow.
But you did drink it before you started
yes,
your
of course,
morning.
of course. You know my morning rituals. It's
Listen,
essential.
so Independence Day is
Yes.
tomorrow, right?
Yes, it is.
Is that an excuse for us to get gifts? Should we gift our people,
Who's
our
us?
loved ones,
Who is
women
us?
particularly?
I knew. You, us what? Wow. So any day, huh? St. Patrick's Day, we should have given you something green as well.
It's a celebration. It's a celebration of life. And us as women, we are independent.
Do you know why?
We are making your life more independent.
Do you know who I think should get gifts? Is our elders who throughout the year, we always say, you guys, you're always talking about back then. But I think it might be a good time to appreciate their sacrifices.
Yeah.
And, you know, even survival at that point in time is something to be celebrated because it was not guaranteed. So maybe your mother will get her gifts. But you must just relax, be calm.
What would be a perfect Independence Day gift?
I would go with the Sam Nujoma book.
Okay.
I think that would be interesting. A book on interesting facts in Namibia. That could be something to check out.
Or a voucher to go see the beautiful landmarks of Namibia.
Yes. Velvichas shirts, because Velvichas are going to the World Cup this year. Oh, there's lots to be proud of. Christine Boma, does Christine Boma have it? Can Christine Boma make T-shirts?
You can buy sugar, the one with
Christine Boma. Yes, the sugar.
You can give some of that sugar.
Yeah, now many ways to celebrate, yeah.
All right, tomorrow we are celebrating Namibia's Independence Day. And just in case, I just want to throw this out there. If you do have a gift for me, I will be at work tomorrow, bringing you the good news, bringing you your favorite Smell the Coffee. We do have Lisa Ellis in studio and so much more coming up on this episode of Smell the Coffee. We'll be right back shortly. Stay with us.
Indeed, in June 2004, in my capacity as the head of state, I launched Namibia Vision 2030 and emphasized the need to be clear about where we are, where we wanted to go, and over what time frame. Thus, this vision is still valid and achievable in the remaining 7 years if we work hard and remain united as I believe that a people united striving to achieve a common good for all members of the society will always emerge victorious.
All right, welcome back to Smell the Coffee, and it's time for us to get into the main stories over the weekend. Anna, it was a crazy weekend.
It was.
It was a crazy weekend.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. All right, so we're going to talk about 2 arrest warrants of 2 names, which I'm pretty certain you know now. Vladimir Putin has had an arrest warrant issued against him by the International Criminal Court. It's not just him. It's also Russia's Commissioner for Children's Rights, Maria Alexeyevna Lvova-Belova, and this is in relation to the forced deportation of children from Ukraine to Russia. Now, another man that will also be looking towards arrest is Donald Trump. Now, with a Manhattan grand jury indictment on alleged hush money involving former porn star Stormy Daniels likely, Donald J. Trump sought to rally supporters to his side, declaring that he would be arrested on Tuesday and calling for protests. This is what he said. The far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Protests take our nation back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know. Let's start with Putin. We start with Vladimir Putin.
Yes, Putin should be arrested.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a position quite a lot of people hold, especially if the International Criminal Court is in on it. What's more interesting to me is the precarious position it puts under countries in. For example, South Africa has got a summit here, which is the BRICS summit. I think Russia is part of it.
Yeah.
If Putin goes there, South Africa has a legal obligation to arrest Putin, regardless of their relationship with Vladimir Putin. So what this essentially does is it kind of restricts Putin's movement. But what they're also hoping for, I was reading a very interesting article this morning, is that if there's another Kremlin who wants to take over Putin, all you have to do now is try get him to be surrendered to the ICC. Then you can try run things in Russia.
Oh.
To get my point. So it's like now like a volatile situation where if there's anyone powerful enough in Russia to just make sure he's at the right place at the right time, they could take advantage of that. And other nations are trying to figure out how do we navigate this, because if he's in your country and you have the legal requirement, you should be arresting Putin. Now someone else who arguably people have been saying should have been arrested for a gazillion things is obviously Donald Trump. From, you know, the insurrection, the riots, which is why I found it interesting. He said, take our nation back. I think he's actually in trouble because of the January 6th insurrection. You know, for such sentiments, a lot of people were talking about it. I've got family in New York and they were saying that everything is kind of shut down. People are just kind of worried about Trump supporters in particular because he has called on a protest, and the last time he called on his protest, they went and they took on the Capitol, which is arguably the most important building in the United States of America. So that's going to be very interesting to see. All I have to say is that between Putin and Trump, looking a lot like Africa, guys. Huh? What's up? Okay, I see you. Welcome back. Because I've never seen, for example, ICC, yes, as much as Putin has an arrest warrant, they haven't tried anyone who's not African. Or Saddam Hussein.
Where do they get Putin? Do they go to his state house?
No, you can't go to him. You can't go into Russia. No, that can never happen.
Yeah.
No. You have to hope you get him somewhere else. To get my point. And that's why they're hoping if someone is in the country can be like, listen, the international community is closing in around us. If us as a country just give them Putin, then things will move smoothly.
But isn't he smart now to know that he's not going to go anywhere? He's not going to leave his country because now it has been known, it has been made known that the warrant arrest is out there.
I mean, you'd think so, but actually a Russian leader has been disposed in the same way, so to speak, not necessarily ICC. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. One Namibians celebrate Independence Day. Donald Trump might be losing his.
All right, now we move over to some interesting news. There's a story published by the Namibian that really left the entire public with their mouth open.
Gobsmacked.
Yeah. There's a story that says, pay back Arafat's money if you owe him. That money needs to go to his children, or to his son rather. If you don't, he will haunt you forever. What's your take on that?
I don't know why you're asking me that take. Is it because I'm Zimbabwean? Yes, about the haunting.
Definitely.
I don't know anything about that.
Because
but the parts that I obviously resonate with is paying Arafat and paying artists. And Arafat in particular isn't just a person who was a producer.
You must pay artists whether they are dead or alive.
Yes,
period.
indeed. Yes, indeed. And you know, this is someone who was part of the formation of some of the most potent times in Namibian musical history. And you know, all of us love to say your name will live on, your brand will live on, you will never die. Arab, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a good way to do that is to make sure that his children and the people have the money that's owed to them. That Arafat worked for. I think it's cool. I don't know about the haunting though. What's up with the haunting?
I don't know. I think the haunting is just like a threat.
But
you know, people are scared of the dead.
Yes,
people
that's
are
very
scared.
true. That's
if you
very
say
true.
I'll haunt you, then everyone will try to get their act right.
But you know, you can look at it logically, right? So perhaps it could be haunting. We could be talking witchcraft, or it's Africa. We'd be thinking those things sometimes. Or it could be technically haunting, like haunting you mentally. It could haunt you spiritually. It could haunt you in a very real way to just know that you haven't paid this guy back.
Did Arafat say this, or is someone speaking on his behalf?
No, it's obviously...
no, because some people leave notes behind.
Oh, that guy knows that I'll be back if you guys
even... Did Arafat
even...
really say this,
Well,
or is someone saying he said so?
Something I do love about Arafat, what I did love about him was he knew the value of his work and he was about his money.
Yeah.
So run that man his money.
Period.
I'm putting that out there. That's what I think.
Okay.
All right. So today is an interesting day. Okay. So it's the day before Independence Day for Namibia. But there's protests, and not just anywhere. There's 4 protests. It's actually historic. 4 protests happening across Africa on the same day. Let's get into it. 4 countries in Africa are preparing in responses against planned protests fronted by opposition politicians in what could test the line between civil liberties and security. South Africa, Kenya, Tunisia, and Nigeria may all experience running battles, but their plans are, far and different. For Kenya's opposition leader Raila Odinga, he has rejected what he calls intimidation from the government after he announced on Monday the beginning of protests to resist what he calls a high cost of living, which he blames on the government's lethargy. In South Africa, it's all about President Cyril Ramaphosa and the EFF. In Tunisia, it is about President Kais Saied. And in Nigeria, it's people protesting Nigeria's election.
Yeah, there's a lot going
Tense,
on in
right?
Africa. And there is a protest everywhere.
There's a protest
And there's
everywhere.
a protest in Namibia tomorrow.
There is a protest. Were we late to the party? We can't keep doing this, Namibia. Let's do things without. Apparently, this was a group project. Did we miss the WhatsApp invite?
I think
everyone
we
else is
did.
doing things on the same day. But I think it's interesting. I do think it's glaring. Because it shows that there is perhaps a leadership vacuum or a large displeasure with leadership across Africa.
Yes.
And these are African countries in different regions, basically covering most of the regions in Africa. And of course, I think, let's not make a mistake, I think there's generally a leadership vacuum everywhere in the world, United States, wherever it is. But I'm concerned with Africa because that's where we live. And when we have 4 countries protesting at the same time, it's very interesting, because what I also find very interesting is on Twitter, the conversations are changing people, and everyone seems to relate to everyone's struggle, which means that the political elite are more or less kind of perpetuating the same patterns when it comes to leadership, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know how it's going. South Africa was very interesting. EFF started yesterday, already last night.
And Cyril said they are going to deploy the South African Defence Force in the streets.
Yes, and Malema said if you receive any heavy-handed response, you should be heavy-handed back. I think it's a little tense.
It's very
very tense. But the right to protest is there. You can't really fight it. That's how.
And it's a valid reason to protest. People don't have electricity for 8 hours or more. People want to take a stand and say this is wrong, but you are deploying, defense on them.
Yeah, I mean,
security, like a heavy. For you to say we're going to put out the defense force, that's heavy security.
It's very interesting, yeah.
Why don't you get the police? Why the defense force?
Yeah, because I also think there's a thin line between anticipating violence and potentially instigating it, because certain optics make people feel a certain way. And when you talk about the EFF, which has a lot of its ideology drenched in, anti-colonial rhetoric, I can imagine they're the exact kind of people who, when they see police, when they see systems of authority, may think of back in the day.
Yeah.
And for them, that might not be a reason to back down.
Now, before we bring you the very exciting interview with Lisa Ellis, we want to tell you that Uncle Vinny has dropped a new single, and it's called Piki Piki. If you are an Amapiano, fan, you have to go on YouTube, check out that Piki Piki. It's absolutely amazing. I listen to it, and I love all the TikToks, dance moves that everyone is sharing, and I absolutely love Uncle Vinny. So congratulations to him and everyone else who produced the song. We'll be right back shortly.
Ohole So Nice is an entertainment show brought to you by the youth for the youth, aimed at having more young people showcase their individual identities. Making a good impression does not come easy. The nerves and the natural way youth interact when it comes to dating, well, this has changed over the years. This is a dating show that allows individuals to participate and be their own true selves. Ohole So Nice focuses on blind date, talk about that, news, flex your style, and more. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and on the MyZone Facebook platform. To share your experience or make your product or service part of Ohole So Nice, contact Zone at synergy.com.na. Ohole So Nice, because Sabawelling isn't enough.
Liz Ellis is a Namibian singer, songwriter, producer, actress, and so much more. To say that she is a triple threat will be an understatement. I love her because she is the hit maker of my favorite song, Happy. She is also wearing a happy color, which is pink, and I absolutely love to see you. It's so hard to introduce you because you don't need an introduction. Like, what do I even say about you?
I was one time called a slashy. Come on, this slash. So I think I should be a proud, happy slashy.
So thank you very much for joining us on Smell the Coffee.
Thank you for having me a day before independence.
Yes.
I think,
what are you doing to celebrate independence, actually, now that we're here?
I think I need to celebrate my freedom tomorrow in terms of not having to do a gig, in terms of just celebrating with my family and understanding, you know, where my true responsibility
Making
lies.
some good traditional food, you know, just playing some good music and all that. While we are talking about music, how did your love for music develop?
Definitely through my late mother. She was the most phenomenal opera singer, but she never studied opera. And as you know, most of us, we get groomed at church.
Yes.
And she would sit at the back of the church and that note would hit the priest there in front. And he would say, Mrs. Kuberski, we can hear you and we understand how beautiful and passionate your voice is. And I think that's where that seed was planted, and honing that through, you know, theater at school and doing musicals, and then finally studying and becoming a professional musician.
Wow.
Yes.
So what do you love about music the most? Is it the creation of it, or is it the delivery of the music?
I think it's the transformational ability it can give to your life, because you can see me now, but you don't know what I sound like if you haven't heard me before.
Yes.
You know, I could look at Ashwin and I wouldn't know what he sounds like when he would sing. And that's the thing about when you sing, or when you write music, when you compose, even just as an author, something happens. You are transformed from your normal state. And I think that was my most favorite thing doing Song Night for 10 years was, you know, having the security guard walk in with this tiny little bling bling keyboard, and then he goes and plays Mozart or Bach and has a voice of a king. And we tend to judge people, you know, on appearances and what they look like, but then you never know what can come out of their mouth and the abilities they have musically. So I think that.
Yeah, that's what you love.
Yes.
Listen, now, COVID-19 really has ravaged the entertainment industry, not only for me and you, but for other artists as well.
Yes.
I learned to dance during COVID. What did you learn to do? What other avenues did you explore during that time?
Well, I don't know if the public knows, but I literally became a DJ
Yeah, DJ Rice.
DJ Rise Elders was birthed because of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes, I literally, my husband bought me a deck for Christmas a few years ago, and he said, I know that you voiced that you want to make music this way, that you want to make people dance without having to sing. And when the pandemic hit, this was sort of the time and the place. It literally felt like the season, and it put all the ingredients together, the time, not being able to go into public, just having to sit with yourself and say, I can do this, I have to do this. And that is what I've been doing. And of course that was honed as well and nurtured by Drag Night Namibia. I'm the executive director of Drag Night Namibia, and being the resident DJ there and being a show during COVID, we had like 5-10 people, you know, we really looked at the laws and what was happening, and we created a show that
created magic from nothing at all.
From nothing to something. And I think that's where Song Night for me and Drag Night Namibia, they brought something which is look at a need, look at what the public needs, and give the public that. Try and create it with the right stakeholders.
All right, now that you spoke about Song Night, I understand that has come to an end.
Yes.
But now there is Song Night sessions.
Well, there was Song Night sessions, my dear. I'll give you the juicy gossip.
Give me the tea.
So as you know, we did Song Night at the Warehouse Theatre and at other events, venues like La Brocante and FNCC. We did that for a decade. Then COVID came.
Yeah.
And we decided to merge online, and we did that for 2 years. But obviously that was a completely different experience. We still found and developed and nurtured new talent.
Yeah.
But then eventually we went and did song night sessions for 2022 at the FNCC. Very intimate. It was called Namibia's very own tiny desk. But it just is not sustainable.
Yeah.
And what we decided is to end song night in that capacity completely and focus on the agency part, getting the people that we have nurtured or have supported in some or other way and get them paying jobs, whether it
Yeah.
is at corporate functions or at restaurants or for tourists. So we're really trying just to branch out, and I think that's why I'm so proud that the Song Night Agency is now going to provide various performers for the Tourism Expo, and it's also linked to City Market.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yes.
Let's talk about drag night.
Oh yes.
You seem to love it so much and so passionate about it.
Very
Tell
much.
us, how often does it happen and where does it happen? And you know, how much are usually the tickets?
Yeah.
Yeah, and all that.
So we're very, very excited. I see a beautiful picture of Roberto Menoguso on the screen, and of course, Roberto's alter ego or drag character is Gigi has arrived, one of our founding mothers of Drag Night Namibia. And Drag Night happens every first Saturday of the month,
Yeah.
meaning our next show is on the 1st of April. It's no April Fool's joke. At the Loft, Windhoek. And I know many people are like, there are 2 lofts in Windhoek. Please don't go to the Brewers Market loft on the 1st of April. Go to the Old Power Station loft.
Okay.
That is, of course, our new venue for Drag Night Namibia for Cycle 3. And we are very excited that we're selling our tickets on web tickets. So you can pre-book, and of course, as a pre-booked ticket, you can of course also get a table where you can sit with your people. We always have a theme. This time is You Got Served, so you need to bring your athleisure. Show us your cheerleader vibes. And the idea is just to get
I
us,
want to dress up for that.
please come with your
wanna dress up for
pom-poms and
that.
your high socks and join us from 1700 hours. That's very, very early, but at 1930 we open the doors and you can mingle with the queens. You have a meet and greet, you can take a picture,
Yeah.
and of course you can see the culture, see drag culture for what it stands for, what we're trying to do about inclusivity and visibility, hear the talent, because there's live performance as well as lip syncing. And of course, our executive director, we are 2, it's Rodelio Lewis, aka Miss Mavis, our MC. She just does a phenomenal job at making people feel you're somewhere else. It feels like you've elevated, you've dressed up, you're coming to support the movement.
I can attest to that because I was there
Yes.
at the past drag night.
Yes.
Absolutely love that. Now let's talk about the Windhoek City Market and the expo. What do you have in store for us?
I think I'm incredibly proud that the Song Night Agency in this regard could provide Arthur.
Yeah.
He's one of the best talents currently in Namibia, who also has a band called The Yesterday. And then we're also bringing the Els, who back in the day, so they're sort of our first school alumni from the Savannah Afro band. And then we are also supplying people like Savannah, who is obviously now at the coast, but the fact that she is one of our first Song Night alumni, it makes us feel very proud that we could plant a seed back in the day, support, and now people are just doing their thing, irregardless of whatever has been done. They keeping on, and the music can attest to itself. It's high quality, it's fun, you want to jive, you're like, do I even have problems at the moment? So so people must please go and check out the Tourism Expo, follow City Market, follow Windhoek Country Club and all the establishments that are involved with putting that up. End of April.
End of April.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We want to say to you, thank you for your contribution to the Namibian entertainment industry at large.
you.
Keep going. You're doing well, and we see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
This has been Lisa Ellis gracing us with her beautiful personality and presence on Smell the Coffee. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Tourismus Namibia is a weekly tourism show that brings you the latest news in the tourism industry and topics related to that. Tourismus aims at reaching travelers, accommodation, restaurant establishments, agricultural and financial institutions. The The show focuses on tourism news, where to travel to fit your budget, 4x4 drives, routes and destinations, and so much more. Tourismus is broadcasted on NTV, 102.com and cross-chat on the following Facebook platforms: the Republikein, Algemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. Contact tourismus@synergy.com.na for news and advertising related queries. Tourismus, bringing the world to Namibia.
Well, that is all we had for you this beautiful Monday morning. Exciting news. We absolutely love the work that the African people are doing, to take back their power and really demand the life that they deserve. We are also very, very proud to have, brought you an interview with Liz Ellis, one of Namibia's greatest and brightest queens. And, it has been a beautiful show.
Liz Ellis could have settled for her own success with her career.
Yeah.
But she said, we are all coming.
Yes.
All of us, we're going to make it. And that's why you keep the industry pushing. Thank you very much for watching Smell the Coffee. And remember, don't just smell the coffee.
Drink it. It's all our love, all our light, and adios.
Cheers.